2024 is wrapping up rapidly, so it's time for us to dish. What are those 5 worst books from 2024? A couple caveats, this list is in no specific order. Filming this on December the 10th to get it out to you guys in time. With no further ado, starting with number 5, Seed by Ania Alhborn. I read 2.5 Ania Alhborn works this past year. I liked If You See Her Just Fine, and the other 2 I kind of hated. Seed makes it onto the list because there's nothing and no point in this narrative I enjoyed. I felt tense, I felt scared. All of that was just like completely devoid. I just had a miserable time the whole time I was reading this. The only reason I even managed to finish it is because so many people rate this so highly, and because I was listening to it on audiobook instead of reading, because if I had been reading it, I'd have been out probably in the first 3 chapters. I think part of it is the main character is in like this too stupid to live kind of category. Alhborn is trying to do like this supernatural, can't tell other people kind of thing, so I can't like reach out for help because I can't tell anyone what's going on. The way it's described to me felt stupid, flimsy, not scary, more like stubbornly will not ask for help than like cannot ask for help, which are 2 different things. Most of my adult life, I haven't had a problem asking for help, so like that too prideful to ask for help is like a hashtag cannot relate, and also a huge negative characteristic. You need to go work out in therapy. I don't need to find a whole book where like the point of it is that I'm too stubborn to ask for help. Additionally, I think Seed does a couple of cheap shock value things, and you know, like usually I like horror that involves children and that has like the innocence either being corrupted or in like significant danger because of what the parents are doing, but the way this one was displayed was not for me, and I just hashtag could not relate. Moving us into number 4, Moonfire Brides by Sylvia Mercedes. I hated this main character so much. She's so dumb. She's so wishy-washy. She doesn't know what she wants. She doesn't know how to take and process information in any kind of meaningful way. She's in a situation that arguably most people would consider to be like pretty sweet and cushy. Instead of doing what she can to like knit out some of the wrinkles in it, she's just like fighting it and struggling against it the whole time for no particular reason. She never asks the right questions or like listens to get the nuance of what people can say to her so that she can understand things better. I just found her one of the most frustrating characters to be forced to go on this journey with. Arguably, I would say there's probably not even a story here if we had a better character. Moving me into number 3, Compound 26. I still have a whole ass script about this that I need to film and release to you guys sometime. It's going to be a crazy long rant review about a random ass book. And even though there's a lot of weird misogyny and sexism, there's like a significant amount of very uncomfortable racism in it that comes out in weird and unexpected ways that like just throw me for a loop. There's a huge emphasis on fashion, even though they don't make fashion products anymore because we're in a post-apocalyptic scenario and we're in like an extreme supply and demand kind of situation. She still found a way to describe every outfit, talk about label name brands, higher quality goods, and people just looking their best. I hated it. But none of that would have got it on this list if it wasn't for the fact that this is a young adult dystopian romance that happens between a doctor and a patient. Power imbalance there is gross to start, but then keep in mind this doctor is running experiments on the patient, and the patient is quarantined and trapped in a single room with no way to get out, no rights of their own, and no access to anything without the doctor say so. They do a couple of things to try and mitigate this power imbalance, but the fact that we would promote something like this to teens, we're already concerned about teens like falling prey to older people or teens falling prey to like a teacher-student relationship, is so gross, so off-putting. There's just no way for me to describe my disgust with the author and with this story, because the fact that she thought she could write something like this and say that it was for teens is just like beyond the pale to me. Now, if you're an adult and you want to read whatever kind of romance you want to read, that's your business, but I don't think we should be shaping young minds, giving them models and formats for healthy, good, societally approved relationships that involve this kind of power imbalance that you could see play out in their life and that we're actively trying to keep them from having happen. Number 2, Taken by the Dragon King by Amelia Shaw. I just hate everything Amelia Shaw has ever written. I've sampled a couple of her other books. I got the furthest in Taken by the Dragon King because it's about dragon shifters and I'm a dragon shifter girly, which made this particularly egregious to me because there's no reason for them to be dragon shifters. There's nothing very like dragony going on here. There's not like a great use for the wings, for the fire breathing, for the extra power. None of those like stereotypical dragon hoarding traits or territorial elements. No like really creative landscapes or designs meant to like deal with the fact that these people can sometimes have wings and sometimes not. You know, stuff that you'd want to see in a dragon shifter story that would make it reasonable to be about dragon shifters instead of just like normal ass people. Additionally, Amelia Shaw likes to write like curvy girl romances, and I just think curvy girls can do so much better than the male protagonists that she gives them. They're so gross. They feel very self-centered, very territorial, dominating, aggressive. This specific guy can't recognize when someone is like trying to help them versus when someone is trying to like backstab them, which I feel like was an attempt at politics and intrigue and like intercourt interactions. But the fact that this guy is just like isolationist, standaloneness, and like an asshole to everyone kind of undercuts that. Makes him less politically savvy, less interesting, and just like a difficult buzzkill for them to have to deal with. Also, this book has the jealous woman trope in it where there's like this lady dragon that the male dragon was hooking up with before he found his true mate who's like a human in this other world. And the fact that she is a jealous woman, she tries to get this other woman to leave of her own accord and tries to like have the enemy come in and abduct her so that she can be with this dude. So annoying. Why does this guy not make their breakup clear? And also, why does he keep her around to like undermine his potential relationship with the girl he loves who's his true mate? I also find the female protagonist a little bit despicable in a whole bunch of ways. She is living this great life in this human world. She owns her own home. I think she has pets. She is doing what she wants to do, which is being an elementary school teacher, and she's doing it well. She's feeling accomplished in that, all this stuff. And like the second a man swoops in and abducts her, even though she gives like these token protests that she wants to return to her own world, she's like secretly low-key excited that she gets to do nothing the rest of her life and has no greater ambition than just to be like catered and pampered forever. And like I would understand if she secretly wanted to be a painter, or she wanted to be an author, or she wanted to do charitable good works, and like this man's financial stability gave her that opportunity. I'd understand if she realized she'd run herself ragged, she wanted to break, and then she like went back to it. Those things are fine. But the concept that she wants to do nothing but like be in warm furs and eat bonbons and see beautiful things is offensive in a lot of ways. And then number 1, Controller by Jesse Kellerman. As a general rule, I try not to put these novellas on lists of the best of or the worst of, but Controller is so incredibly fucking miserable and intentionally miserable. To the author's credit, everything about this novella that I hate was placed there intentionally, and I'm not supposed to like it. Like, they executed excellently in that regard. But it doesn't change the fact that I hated it, and everything about it is unpleasant. Like, why does this need to exist? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. But anyways, that's my top 5 worst reads of 2024. Talk to me in those comments down below. What was the worst thing you've read this past year? And give me a little taste of why. And as always, keep reading.